www.healthcmi.com, and welcome back to part 2 of Chinese medicine dietetics plus headache and lung disorders.
Okay, and another simple, we talked about the headwind or whatever we say because the food allergy. Okay, like some people, take something gluten, okay, or something, whatever the agent or ingredient, they will be feel sensitive. Then after eat, they will be feel headache. So one of the very simple recipe, we can be used one of the herb we show you before the suya, one of the kind of mint, purple mint. Then also will be one of the we call fang feng. It's a herb, but that's optional. If you don't have fang feng, it's okay. Then you just get something from the market to get the suya. Okay, whatever say purple kind of mint. Okay, or regular mint. It's okay too. But another key things will be what? One of the tea, actually now I drinking, that will be what? Pu'er tea.
Yes, I like pu'er.
Okay,
I
then
like
you
some
be
more
put
too.
the pu'er tea with the very hot boiling water. Then with what? Something like a couple pieces of the zisuye. Then just drink it like that way. So then after the eat, that's what we usually can be have that problem. That's why if you go to like Cantonese dim sum house, you can be because they mostly the food, of course, some is good taste, but it has something greasy oil. It's not very healthy. And some people after eat they will be feel at something like kind of congestion or something, or even though some can be had headache. So on that condition, just simply drink the pu'er tea with the mint. They can be take care of that headache problem due to like we talked about the food allergy.
And black tea or pu'er specifically in general is good for headaches. Cha. So that is one of the functions of tea. And of course, we see it in the herbal formula, Chuan Sheng Cha Tiao San, uh, with, Chuan Sheng and Cha, like that. So too much, of course, tea also causes headaches, but a little tea, good to relieve headaches. And pu'er specific. And Jeffrey mentioned that when it comes to food stagnation, pu'er is specific. It has slightly warming properties for the spleen and stomach, and it helps relieve digestion problems. And pu'er is now shown to be a weight loss tea.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
it also can be consumed like lower the body the cholesterol level.
So for cholesterol and triglycerides, it helps emulsify and break down fats. So pu'er is a great drinking tea, and I believe it's really more of a traditionally in China a tea that is had with treats. So if there's something like mooncake, you can have pu'er tea with mooncake to help it
Yeah,
digest nicely.
yeah, because mooncakes are very damp and very sugar, so very sweet, damp heat condition.
Yeah, and so whenever having sweets, I guess I try to make an equivalent in our society, maybe German chocolate cake or something like that. Then pu'er tea is the perfect, has a slight bitter edge. A good pu'er goes with the sweet, it matches it perfectly, and that flavor combination is special. And that appetite is a form of intelligence. We always have to think of our appetite as a form of intelligence, and it's telling us that it's the right combination because it breaks down the fats, it helps us process the sugar, and it is a perfect match to pu'er tea, and slightly warming so it benefits the stomach chi.
Okay, another headache, like we mentioned before, is somewhat related with the phlegm blocking the orifice. There will be similarity, like we talked about the the sinus headache, because the sinus mucus they accumulated, then will be filling into the sinus, the whole area. Actually, in the clinic, we saw some patient is very bad. They have that kind of sinus. Then they, even though already did the surgery to open up the sinus to wash off, wash clean, okay, with the antibiotic solution to, like washing. Then better for a couple months. Then the symptoms gradually come back again. Okay, so then we be what? That is what that kind of case. We need to be what? Changing your diet. Okay, and also we be what? To need to be like now we give you some of the kind of recipe. Uh, One ingredient will be called chenpi. That will be like dry tangerine peels. Okay, tastes good. Then another one, 白枝 again. Okay, is something angelica. Okay, then also yiren. Okay, drops here again. And another herb will be called fuling. Fuling is what is somewhat like a medicinal mushroom. The taste is very mild. Okay, so then we can be what? To be cooked, whatever fish head or lean pork meat. Then plus like acupuncture and plus like another uh, conventional herbal tea. So then we can be have some patient will be can be even though they did the surgery, they still have problem. But then after those kind of treatment, then they will be getting better. We had several patients like that.
We see that commonly in the clinic. People have nasal polyps and entrenched
Actually,
infections.
someday will be if you didn't correct that problem, later on they become another serious condition we call sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
Then sleep apnea, the patient need to be used the CPAP machine. The CPAP machine will be what like a mask, put it in the mouth. Some will be had a little bit better dissolved, but some will be actually even more ignoring the sleep, because when they detect it, the airway will be has somewhat blocking or whatever, the breathing cycle slower or stop, then the machine will be kicked in. Then they will be had noise. So then will be what? To make the patient actually is more have problem with the insomnia. So we had many patients, uh, they complain about that. Of course, some will be, good with the CPAP machine. That will be okay to continue to use it. That, but if some people, even though use the CPAP machines not improve, or some people actually the CPAP machine is quite a bit expensive, but then some insurance, good insurance, they buy it for for the patient. But then later on, the patient is not good with that. Then they just put it in the storage room, okay, with that kind of expensive machine, okay. So then we mentioned, so we need to be using the whole, like treatment plan to take care of the problem. Acupuncture, we will do something like local pond, okay, or we will be using some herb to clear up the whatever damn phlegm or hard phlegm or something like that. Okay, then we need to be on the dietetic treatment, and also we need to be avoid to some kind of food we taking. Usually we say that kind of is all belong to damp or damp heat kind of food, including something like dairy product, cheese, or of course all greasy oil, or chocolate, sugar, because they all in TSM system we say generation the not body fluid, it's generation the phlegm in the body. The phlegm is hard to treat, okay, because the idea we know that the phlegm or dampness, the character will be what? They are more stick or attached to body. It's difficult to be come out. Okay, so that's why very similar to like Western. They will be open up then wash, then the dam still accumulate that come back again. So that will be what is pretty frustrated. Okay, then we need to be, changing, the lifestyle. Okay, and also we need to be very focused on, what you eat, what kind of food will be generation the phlegm. Then after we make that kind of changing, then can able to be take care of the problem. And otherwise will be what? Um, Whatever do many times with the surgery, the problem still happen.
So Jeffrey's touching on people using CPAP machines to help them breathe at night with sleep apnea. And while some forms of sleep apnea are due to throat closing, due to a class 2 overbite, typically, or like a minor overbite, which can be corrected with advanced light wire dental procedures, kind of orthodontic movement. And advanced light wire is emerging as a newer form, and people can look that up later. It's new, a little bit different. Most orthodontists aren't using that at the moment. If it's a very gentle way of using the body's natural force to realign the bony structure, we also find that damp stagnation is a major cause or contributor to breathing problems at night and sleep apnea. So getting rid of the nasal polyps, opening up the throat, we'll find a lot of people also have dampness in general, including being overweight and dampness in the diet, and having too many foods that have a lot of lubrication, like dairy products, for example, leading to sleep apnea. So it's important to have a whole program to help these people overcome this problem.
Yes. Another issue, same thing too, is pretty complicated issue for the headache. Like we mentioned before, there will be blood stagnation headache. Like we mentioned, might be because it's the post symptoms of the trauma, the injury. But sometimes it actually might be inside the brain or whatever over there had something little bit tumor is possible. That's why the headache is always on the same area. Of course, we will be recommendation the patient to be go get something like a CAT scan or whatever to find out anything happen in the brain. But if the report come out, they cannot find. It's possible too. So then, but in our system, we don't need to be have something evidence to talk about inside the brain have something. Okay, because only if the brain or whatever the skull had one area is pain like that, is enough. Okay, of course we will be come by with something like a pulse, will be look like kind of choppy, or the tongue will be look like kind of purple. So then will be help us to be diagnosis. But just say the main indicator is the headache, sharp needling is on the certain location is almost enough to be diagnosed. Say we say is the blood stagnation. That is something not that easy to be treated. The symptoms related with the headache too. So now we will give you one of the kind of recipe, very tasty. It can be worked with too. So then will be what? Because the headache is on the one side. Besides, we talk about the injury or whatever something happened inside the brain. Another condition can be put in that category too is migraine headache. Your migraine headache they will be had always on a certain area. So then we can try that. So now the channel leading up beside the fish head or whatever you don't need to, but we can switch to another leading channel, food. We mentioned before, that's walnut. Why then? Because the walnut, the shape is look like kind of the brain. Okay, so then we be leading to the brain, leading to the head. Then how we make the blood stasis, remove it. Then one of the kind of herb or actual food in the pinyin we call honghua. Okay, but in the you can buy it that kind of honghua actually is saffron. Okay, whatever from like Indian store, okay, or something Middle East store. Because mainly those kind of saffron is even in China had to be imported. Okay, we call Tibet Honghua, but actually it's not really. Tibet can grow something, but mainly because that is come from like the Middle East. Okay, then they will be transported, go through the Tibet, then go to the China. Okay, so that will be what is really good uh, food, but also it's medicine to be we call immerged in the blood, Honghua. Okay, it's good smell too. Okay,
I love dishes prepared with saffron. I think a lot of
yeah,
people, it's very popular and
yeah, it's popular.
so good for the blood.
Yeah, many cooking style like Spanish, seafood rice
Yeah,
pie or
paellas and
something.
yes.
They will be using that saffron to make the rice. The color is like yellow, golden yellow, things like that. Okay, so then will be what we can be beside those is the main ingredient. Whatever you want to use it, make sweetness, or whatever you want to be make like something not sweet, you can have choice. If you want to make a sweet, so we will be put another is kind of brown sugar, we call Hong Tang. Brown sugar in the TSM system will be warming and also will be has somewhat in mercury in the blood. And also another agent that is alcohol, but that's what is rice wine. The same thing. The rice wine will be with yellow color. We call Huang Jiu. So then the Huang Jiu as an agent or leading channel agent, we use it in something conventional formal Chinese herbal medicine is as an ingredient too. Usually we use it for immerging the blood for something like chest pain, that meaning something like injury on the chest or somewhat like angina pain, those kind of conditions. Okay, so on that situation, the alcohol is also considered is one of the kind of medicinal agent.
So Huangqiu, special.
Huangjiu, yeah.
It's an upward spreading, so
Mm-hmm.
it brings it to the head
Mm-hmm.
and has a spreading
Mm-hmm.
property. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey's mentioning brown sugar.
Mm-hmm.
In America, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's just colored white sugar,
Yeah, sometimes they
and
just put the sugar, then they put in I think put a little bit charcoal or something to
or
be make them
molasses or
brown.
something.
Okay,
Yeah,
that is not the real brown sugar.
red sugar, I think.
Yeah, we actually should be the real brown sugar should be like that. You just use it the sugar can, squeeze the juice. Then after that, the juice evaporated naturally. Don't put any color. So then they will be what? They will be a somewhat brown color.
It's a brownish red. So Jeffrey's referring to unprocessed sugar
Yeah, that actually
from
just
the
say
cane.
unprocessed,
And
just
so
from the
when you
can.
squeeze and extract
Mm-hmm.
the uh, the sugar from the cane, it's not processed. It's a
Mm-hmm.
reddish brown,
Mm-hmm.
and it has all the minerals and nutrients still in it. And I think we'll see things like sucanat and rapidura, and that's exactly what Jeffrey's referring to. Those are two ways that we refer to uh, in a health food store,
Yeah.
clean, unprocessed
Mm-hmm.
sugar,
Mm-hmm.
sucanat and rapidura. We
Mm-hmm.
can actually get what we would call, what
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey's referring to as brown
Mm-hmm.
sugar. So
Yeah.
that's the real deal.
Yeah. And also, now we talked about the headache, but just say the brown sugar with the yellow, why? We also use it for like the female, they have PMS pain due to like the blood stasis and also the cold condition. That's very effective. Is the simple food treatment too for PMS, like people who had whatever endometriosis or something in the TSM system. It's belong to like blood stasis because they always had sharp pain on the abdominal certain area. So then one of the kind of common or simple dietetic method we call, Seng Jiang Hong Tang Tang with Huang Jiu. Okay, very good taste because we just put the ginger, okay, put the brown sugar, then the yellow wine you had two methods can be do. If you sensitive to the the alcohol, then you might be put the yellow wine with the water with the sugar to boiling. Because after the boiling, the alcohol will be what the content will be evaporated. But they still have something, substance inside the, on um, on the soup or on the tea. Okay, but if people, not sensitive to the alcohol, then the best way will be what you cook, you know, hutal or whatever you say, walnut, saffron to become a tea or sugar, then you just uh, put the yellow wine, mix it. Like you half cup of the kind of tea, then you and half cup of the yellow wine, mix up, then drink it. So it's two way, either way.
So
Depend on
that's
what's the patient.
yeah, the most effective way is just lightly boiling for a little while. The walnuts with the saffron, then adding the rapidura or sucanut sugar and the yellow wine afterwards, and we don't have to cook out the alcoholic content. Most people are sensitive to it, or sometimes for children, we want to cook the alcohol out.
Okay, I think we will be finished the topic on the headache. So now we be go to the another topic according to the we talked about the related with the bronchi system. Okay, that meaning something like coughing or bronchitis, or even though loose voice or all those kind of related with bronchi system. One of the kind of recipe will be very good for children when they had coughing, whatever after they suffering from the cold or bronchitis, or they didn't go to that serious yet, but then they started had coughing. So you can be also to be using that recipe to treat. So what's the ingredient? One will be uh, daikon. We actually call that is luobo.
And we can take a look at daikon here now.
Yeah, the daikon you can buy it in
Anywhere.
anywhere,
Yeah.
even though in Safeway. Okay?
Absolutely, as a common
Yeah.
grocery stores.
So then you can, after you buy it, the daikon, you slightly peel off the skin, then you chop it into the small pieces. Then will be what? Then you combine with the following ingredient. We go back to the PowerPoint. So then will be what? One of the ingredients is optional too. We call ma huang, but because the ma huang will be what is the control up now. Um, the acupuncture still can give it to, but won't difficult. You cannot buy it in the market.
And unfortunately, now ma huang, some herbal companies won't sell it anymore, although some do. So it's becoming harder and harder to get ma huang. What do you think, shangru maybe? For people who can't get ma huang, use shangru?
Might be we can be, but try it. And also we will be, if we don't have that, it's okay to we be use it chuan bei mu definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, chuan bei mu will be very mild and is very good for the coughing. Okay, so then will be what we will be use it. Several 10 or whatever. Just say 1 ounce, 2 ounce, those kind of Trumpet mood. Then we mash up a little bit. Then will be what to be put it into the daikon soup. Okay, Then will be what? If we had available in season, had some Asian pear, we can put the Asian pear too. Okay, but if you don't have Asian pear, you can go ahead to put something else too. Okay, for example, like carrot is good too. Okay, or something they also had another like gherkin, we mentioned it before. Okay, or something uh, fresh, sugar cane juice. Okay, by the way, the fresh sugar cane juice now will be available in the like some um, Vietnamese store. They can be just squeeze the fresh sugar cane to get the juice, but you also can buy it in the supermarket. They put in the can. Okay, people say, oh, the sugar can we can make it sugar. You're dissolving the sugar because sugar it comes from sugar cane. It's not the same, very different. Okay, the sugar cane after the processing, that will be what like we hong tang is belong to warming. Okay, then the fresh sugar cane juice actually it belong to you know cooling
Cooling.
and also tonify the body fluid.
So there it is. When the sugar cane is freshly juiced, it has a completely different function than when it's dried, sun dried or artificially machine dried. Sun dried better, where it takes on a warming property and yet fresh is cooling, similar to ginger,
Mm-hmm.
where you'll have the sun dried ganjang and
Mm-hmm.
the shenjang fresh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think we can take a look at something a little similar, and this is one product that we've seen that is sometimes used for children. This is cane
Yeah,
and
that will be
arrowroot.
actually they have some in here. It's dry sugar cane. They put slice, then they put carrot, okay, and also the arrowroot. That meaning what is gherkin.
So arrowroot, gugen.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just a pre-packaged, ready to make soup for children, and this is common in Asian markets. They have a lot of just pre-packaged formulas basically, but
Mm-hmm.
the advantage to this one is it's tasty for children. And
Mm-hmm.
so this might be something for children with a chronic dry cough.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but if for some people who had like asthma or something like very chronic, coughing due to the lung qi deficiency, so then we need to be switched to another recipe. So that will be what we probably use the dong chong xia cao. So now the dong chong xia cao we have many knowledge on that because so far if we get the real dong chong xia cao, it's very expensive. It's not necessary to get that too. Okay, because now what the lab technology, we know that dong chong xia cao will be have two portions to be combined. One will be the mushroom, they go through the head. It is cordyceps, in English we call that. Okay, then another part will be what is the worm. Okay, so that's what they call dong chong xia cao, meaning say winter. Okay, is something like warm. Okay,
Warm, right?
then summer will be something like grass, but the grass actually is the mushroom. Okay, so then the mushroom is now have many different company. They making that things then powder up to selling in the market. Of course, we need to be find out which one is the more better company. I heard about that even in Santa Cruz, we had one company to selling those kind of dong chong xiao cow mushroom.
Hmm.
Okay, we can find out that in the internet, see which one is more had good recommendation. Okay, then they usually is use it like a big kind of like refrigerator. Okay, because the Dongcheng Xiaocao the character mainly they are in Tibet. Then Tibet the what is the environmental nature? One is cold. Another thing is the lack of the oxygen. Then when we to be make something environmental look like that. So then some company thinking maybe use it, big refrigerator.
Jeffrey, that's tough. Living in that part of Tibet's like living
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
refrigerator.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's just something like cold house. We call warm house. Okay, then
Yes, I
now
get
this
it,
is
but
cold house. Then we be what? Then to be make that mushroom available. Then they powder up. Then they selling in the internet.
right, right.
Then mainly like now we see many pills. If they say had cordyceps ingredient over
Right.
there, mainly is from those kind of
Dongcheng cha.
technology. The real Dongcheng Cha Cha will be
So
very
expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
So expensive.
Mhm. So, but Dongcheng Cha Cha, why they expensive then? Then of course, beside it's difficult to get it. But if things difficult to get it, it's not working for something. Why you pay that money to buy it? There's no reason to do that. But people now, even though they are pay more than the gold, those kind of price to buy it, they of course have something inside. That's what the market demand. Okay, is had value, then people will be pay for that. If no value, why you pay that much money?
Right, right.
Okay, so that's what we study that Dongcheng Xia Chao is for a long time already. It's very good for like chronic coughing, okay, and also even for another things will be like kidney failure.
Mm.
Okay, so then will be what we mentioned now will be also another uh, alternative, not as strong as like the Dongcheng Xia Chao, but that one will be what is become a popular food. Do we have something imaging called Dong Chao? I mean, what Chong Chao flower?
Zhongshan flower.
Just like the Dongcheng Xia Chao, the mushroom is like a kind of yellow.
Mm.
Uh,
I
uh,
might. Let me pull that
look,
up.
yeah, look like something. Uh, Jin Zhen Chai, I think I show you something, but
Yeah,
possibly.
I think we have
Mm-hmm,
something, and I'll
mm-hmm,
try to pull it up.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we get that. You good. Yeah, you get that. That is we call Chong Cha Hua. Okay, that is what is the one of the piece of the the mushroom. They are not expensive. Okay, that will be what in here is mainly we use it for like dietetic thing. Okay, of course not as strong as like the real Chung Chao or some people in the more medicinal quality, but
Hmm.
that one is just more like food quality, but still has somewhat effect. Okay, then how to eat them? Actually, the taste quite good. It's something look like mushroom. Then you can be uh, cook with some like a meat or without meat. Okay, so then maybe what something you can use it by more again, because they generally tonify the lung qi. Okay, because basically we say like people asthma is belong to like kidney that grabs the lung qi.
Hmm.
Okay, so then we be what we will be using something like uh, whatever turtle or something you can. Okay, so uh, so that is the idea. So we will be um, talking about um, something, whatever the main ingredients, don't how you can come by with different things. Or actually, we had some case too. We had something like a pink chuan pill or something. You know, one of the ingredients don't like that kind of don't and they come by with another herb. Then people, food treatment, but also with those pills, and also of course once a while we get the acupuncture treatment too. For the children, they get rid of the asthma. We had some case like some son of the student. Okay, then they after that kind of treatment, the asthma disappeared. Okay, so we can get some wisdom from that.
And I wanted to pick up, Jeffrey, very briefly that for relieving coughing and dissolving phlegm, also to nourish the lung and to walk the qi. You use daikon quite a bit for home recipe, and that's white daikon radish with figs and citrus peel, or chen pea here. What do you think about using pomelo or juhung with that?
Pomelo will be, just the skin, the pomelo inside it can have some, but
But better chen pea.
yeah.
So juhung not as good, and pomelo is the actual
The fruit, it has somewhat hep, but not that strong. Okay?
So to relieve coughing, now this is very strong, and it might be a little more difficult to get kids to drink it. But again, you're juicing the daikon and the figs and citrus peel together, and that juice that you make very strongly dissolves phlegm and stops coughing, walks the qi, and nourishes the lungs. So citrus peel, figs, and white daikon radish. And I was trying to think of a backup in case people didn't have chen pea. So then I was thinking, oh, well, maybe juhung. It's kind of a stretch, but I think we could probably go with some kind of citrus peel in that juice to get that going and get some of the benefit. Better to get a tangerine peel if you can, and something probably more appropriate. I'll see if I can find a pomelo in here too. In our presentation, it just looks like a big grapefruit pomelo, but it's not exactly right. So better to stick with a tangerine peel. But I think we can pull up. There's our pomelo coming up now, and so it's just like a big grapefruit and less bitter, so people tend to like it.
Yeah,
and we have more uses.
Sweet or things like that. Okay, then they can have something, like coughing, those things. Okay. But another recipe, they will be more applied for, in here, the PowerPoint says that it's summer, but it's not necessary. It can be in the autumn or something. Because the idea will be, we use it for general, the children, when they get the dry coughing, okay? So because that will be generation the body fluid and moistening the lung. Okay, so what's the ingredient? One will be bimua again, the white mushroom. Then another one, that is one of the kind of only can buy it in the Asian market. That will be related with called young coconut.
Now popular in the health, in the last year, in health food stores and even larger health food stores, a little bit popular, and now causing some shortages worldwide because of the demand.
Yeah, the young coconut, actually, we just only the juice. We don't need to eat the inside the meat or whatever they say, the texture. So then we just make the whole, okay? Then we be what? Pull out the young coconut, the juice, okay? Then you put it in the jar or whatever we call double boiling method, and can be with the chicken and also the chuan bei mu again, okay? Then will be what? Double boiling. That recipe will be what is more nutrient for children who had, like lung qi deficient, or we can just say poor immunity. Then they will be often like had recurring, like coughing, okay, or more close to like asthma or chronic coughing, but belong to kind of the dry kind, okay. So then we be because that kind of recipe will be moistening. So if we don't have that kind of young coconut, it's okay to substitute it by, like Asian pear.
Asian pear, something moistening for the lung.
Yeah, moistening.
Yeah.
And another powerful one, but that will be kind of the something not very away with the Western, people to be use it because we will be like simplify or the recipe formula related with called 人参割芥散. Okay, that will be what ginseng and gango. Okay, the gango is something like dry lizard, right?
Yeah, it's the gecko.
Yeah, gecko. So then already all the internal organ taken out. So then will be what? We just make powder. Okay, then will be what? Again, we don't the powder. All those three different powder is put it in the capsule. Or whatever if the children's okay. Or adult too. So just put the powder with hot boiling water. Then will be what? Had to be daily basic to
Strongly tonify the lung area.
and asthma.
Yeah, strongly.
Asthma.
Yeah.
Asthma is not the easy way to treat. Okay, then they need to be like here is like a simplify of the traditional formula called 人参割芥散.
What about quail meat? We want for children who are weak and deficient. I think that's
quail meat is good too.
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
So and then you can
actually quail meat will be better than the chicken.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
For the children in particular.
For especially children, they will be more easy to digest it.
What about if someone has a rice steamer? Could they make the rice and then put the quail meat on top towards the end?
Yeah, that would be
close the steamer back up,
Yeah.
let it cook for a few minutes, cook it, and it cooks into the rice. It's very easy.
Yeah.
And raise the whole body condition for the children.
That would be the good one, okay?
I was just in Zion National Park, Utah,
Uh-huh.
and there's not a lot of alligators there, but
Mm-hmm.
I did see a sign as I was driving by: deer, elk, buffalo, and
Mhm.
alligator. So they had all sorts of meats.
Actually, in here we had the alligator. The alligator meat in the market you only can buy it, in the they dry one. They
Right.
sell it in the herb store. So then will be what the alligator meat will be have two functions. One will be a skin problem related, like skin condition. But another function they will be the good for the again for asthma, okay, chronic coughing.
And we're not necessarily recommending that for children here in the United States, but it is traditionally the alligator crocodile is good for that.
Okay. Mhm. But generally speaking, we say the people who had the kind of recurrence, like coughing or asthma or those kind of things, it's all belong to the TCM we talked about. The root things is what is not only just you take the people coughing or asthma, then you'll be what you said something like inhaler or something called medicine. They same thing like a painkiller. They just will be stop the coughing temporarily.
Symptomatic.
Yeah. Then the root things still happen. Like we mentioned should be go to like a kidney and the lung. They both is related with the chronic coughing and asthma. It's not the easy way to treat that problem because when children when they get that you didn't take care of that, then later on become a adult, then they will be permanently to get asthma problem. So it's the better way to when they started. Usually the asthma is started in the childhood. Okay, then we better to be treat that and stop that on that time. It's good time to to work on that. And otherwise, they become older, become uh, more harder to treat that problem. Then they will be depend on the inhaler.
And Jeffrey, I wanted to ask you a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about the aloe flower we saw before.
Mm-hmm.
And I will, of course, try to pull it up on our screen.
Mm-hmm.
let's talk a little bit about the medicinal qualities of aloe flower and how to prepare that in some nice dishes.
Okay. So the aloe flower, there will be some kind of the in the botanically is belong to what cactus, right? Called that, you know,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So then some cactus will be had the fruit. We actually can. I think in even though Western diet, we eat that too, right? Do you eat something like cactus fruit? They look like
Yes.
very good color, like red, purple.
Hmm.
Okay, it's pretty. It's same kind of similarity like aloe flower. It's cooling.
More common, actually, in more Mexican cuisine.
Yeah, yeah,
So like
Mexican
that.
cuisine. Yeah. So
And
now we actually the aloe, the whole plant. Beside, you know, that is kind of aloe, that is cactus or whatever aloe.
right.
It's just they have different variety. But the aloe flower will be what? It's just only, you know, they had, I think in here will be not many people grow that, mainly just in Asia.
Hmm.
And they, you know, the flower is very nice. Do you have iPad or something? Then I can be.
We had it on the
Oh,
video
yeah, yeah,
before,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
could not pull up a dry picture this
Actually, like
time.
the internet, it can be very easy to draw the picture from the you know the aloe flower. Actually, it's not called aloe flower. They should be called jianhua. You know, something like Jian
Okay.
and Hua.
Mm.
That will be can get the imaging. So then they will be exactly to know what they look like. You know, that kind of plant or flower. Okay, very nice. Uh, we never can get that.
Not
That's all
at the
right. That's
moment,
all right.
yeah.
So we just more talking about the medicinal use. Okay.
Okay.
Then the flower is like a dry, you know, a little bit like yellow, kind of the long, green yellow. Um, Original that kind of, you know, we call aloe flower. They are more used in the herbal medicine. But then later on, because the taste good, yeah, that's what it is. They call actually called 霸王花, you know, dry that kind of. They all put that flower dry out. So then when we use it, that how first you take this out, look like we prepare the seaweed, you soaking in the water. Then later on, that flour will become soft, okay, and expand a little bit,
Hmm.
okay. Then you don't need to be cooked that long. So we will be first you cook the soup base, okay, like you whatever you use a chicken or limb or meat or any kind to make the taste first because that flour itself is not much taste.
Right.
It's just like plant.
Very
Yeah,
plain
plant.
flour.
Okay. So then we need to use something to make the soup in order to make that flour the taste better. So then how we eat them or or what we use it for. Generally speaking, we say
They
that will
tend
be
to be like
kind of the we call
the soup,
soft
the
and
dietetic
nozzle.
soup.
Hmm.
Would
Like
that go well with a little winter melon too?
any kind like
Yeah,
we had gram,
I think it'll do.
swollen, or even though we say the lung, dry, so then we be what?
Remember
We
my
make
PowerPoint?
the soup.
Okay, about the
Okay, then
I
we
just
can
called
eat
that
them. This
say
one is
aloe
had very
flower.
good fiber
It's
too.
actually the
No,
it is aloe
carbohydrate,
flower.
not much, protein or any kind, but fiber. Okay, but that's good then. Okay, but beside the, we say that fiber things, we call that we be like moisten the
For
lung,
the
and also we stop the
coughing,
coughing, and like we
but
mentioned
also same
before,
thing
say
for the
people who lost the voice, that's one of that things we can help. So then we be using that aloe flower, and also with the we call mi jiao, the honey day, then cook it, then you eat them. Okay, but beside that, we talked about lost voice. we had another choice. Okay, one of the kind of in the supermarket is always selling, like Trump pipa gao.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy it that pet medicine. We consume is food. Okay, but that will be what basically like 90% is like honey or 80% is honey. Then we have somewhat herb. Then some people don't like it to take too much sugar or honey. Then how do that? Then one of the kind of very simple method we will be use it like you mentioned before. Herbs is some of the kind of like kind of Indian olive. I can say that. Okay, they are had something like bitter and astringent function. Then when you just sucking in the mouth with little bit raw liquid, 干炒, then you don't swallow, okay, because that will be, we cannot digest those kind of herb because they are so strong fiber, okay, and probably hurt your stomach if you accidentally okay, so then will be what, but they are very good to be soothing the
Soothe
throat
the throat.
without any sugar. Because now too in the market, I say people got, but in Western, like wrong drugs or any kind, they will be selling those kind of like liquor or
Yeah. Yeah. Herbal
herbal
candies.
candy. They still had a lot of sugar, or even though sometimes they use a substitute sugar, still no good. There.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be what that is another 100% just like natural, to be soothing the throat. Okay, then more detail another one like panda high, that will be the good one too. Actually, with another herb called mu hu die, so that will be very pretty herb. They look like the butterfly.
Yeah, when they float
Yeah,
like
they
this.
flow on the air because they're so lightweight. Because
Pretty.
that's the way they carry the seeds to be,
Yeah.
spread. Okay, so then will be what? We just use those two herbs to be cooked. Then the tea should be very mild, don't have much taste. Then you can put a little bit, like bintang, the rock sugar. Then will be what? Is also will be soothing the throat. Because for some people like myself too, I teaching all the time. Sometimes what is like 6 or 7 hours or something. It's all on lecture. So if I cannot take care of my voice, that will be what that will be terrible because later on I will be hoarse voice. Nobody will be heard what I say. Okay, so then that's what the things I to do to be maintain like a teacher or something like a singer or they need to find some way to be keep the voice is healthy. Okay, so then in the CCM Chinese medicine, we have some things like that can be tried.
Now the
Okay.
heizi with the gan chao, is that one technique
Raw
is just to
one, you
suck
can,
on the
yeah,
heizi.
just suck on. Then you be feel at because the herbs will be very like a firm kind of fruit. They don't have any texture. Okay, then you be when you sucking, then you be feel something like astringent. Okay, then if you don't want to do that, I can give you another alternative to do that. You just put the little bit raw liquid 甘茶,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then herbs or panda high, whatever you want to. Then you put very hot boiling water to soaking. Then later on you sip,
Just sip.
just sip, the tea.
Is there any case where you would crush the heizi first before
The
cooking? Leave
I
it
think
whole.
it's difficult.
Leave
It's
the
kind of
heizi
like
whole. Too bitter.
Yeah, too bitter, and also very firm too. It's
Yeah,
difficult
very.
to crush them.
So
But the panda high you can, panda high then will be what you can just put it in the hot boiling water. Then later on, the pantahai will be expanded. Then you can actually eat the fruit. Okay, because that actually beside is have the voice, it's also have the bowel movement too.
So the pangdahai, if we just soak it and eat it, are we going to lose something because it's not hot and soothing when you take it as a tea, a little more beneficial to the throat because of the heat from the tea itself, or just as good for nourishing the throat when you eat it?
Yeah, when you both, you need to eat them and also you need to drink them.
Also, drink the soup,
Yeah,
then
but
eat.
the herbs, you don't need to eat them. You cannot eat
No.
them anyway. So,
Or the
so that
licorice,
will be,
yeah.
it's licorice
And
also.
that's common in a lot of the soups that you cook with some of the herbs, then eat them. Uh,
Yeah.
so
That's what usually the dietetic things we select the herb. It can be dissolvable or whatever we can be edible and not very strong fiber. Like if they are very strong fiber, we still can be, but we throw away like huang qi. Okay, but if the dangshen or sanyao or those kind of herb, then we actually can eat them after you cook. Then later they become soft. Then we eat them.
So again, just lightly cooking up a little pang dahai with muhu da and rock sugar, bingtang.
Yeah.
It's great for soothing the throat.
Mm-hmm.
And I had asked Jeffrey about this. I said, well, what are your favorites for just on-the-go people to have as a dietetics cure? I had a patient who was a rock star. He said, oh, but my throat is no good at the end of the tour. What can I do? And that's that person's living. So pang dahai with muhu da, and they're very gentle and mild in flavor.
Or
And
plus the muhu there too.
yeah, the muhu da, but the pang dahai is fun because it expands so much, so it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
The heidza with the gancha, now heidza is more bitter,
Yeah.
so it's not, but it has such an immediate effect on soothing the throat. It
Mhm.
can be dramatic, and you can't just suck on the heidza.
Yeah. And also, I want to mention another herb too. That will be called Rohan Go.
Ah,
Yeah, that will be very sweet. Okay, but also will be suiting the voice too. So that's why they make that. On the future we didn't show you, but they had many mix on the
yeah, many.
Rohan Go. Then you actually can be less processing. You just buy the whole one. The Rohan Go itself. Then you break them piece of that, small piece of that. Then you just put it in the teacup. Then you put the boiling water.
Nice. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
a small,
then
that small sweet gourd, and
Yeah.
it's used to sweeten herbal formulas as well.
Mhm.
And it can come in cubes too, as little
Yeah,
sweetener
yeah,
tubes.
yeah.
So that's nice.
Mhm.
And Asian pear, rock sugar. What about papaya?
The papaya actually is work a little bit differently. The papaya, of course, we have somewhat soothing for the throat too, but not that much. Papaya, actually, the idea you can see how that's what the TCM logic too. The papaya you cut it or the tree, they will be have somewhat like white kind of look like milk kind of the juice come out. So then will be what? Actually, the shape too is look like breast. Okay, so then we actually will be use it for generation the lactation. Yeah, but then the papaya is somewhat. I think for the modern study, they have some kind of enzyme can be have to digest meat.
So it's good for food stagnation,
Yeah,
meat stagnation in
yeah.
particular,
Mm-hmm.
benefit lactation.
Yeah, actually, one of the very common recipe we talked about, you know, use it the papaya, then you can be cooked with fish, okay? Then will be what? Then later on, the soup will be look like kind of white and something look like milk. Very nutrient and very good taste. So
And I'm very fond of dishes where they prepare the meal with the sliced green papaya on the side. It's so flavorful and really wakes up a lot of things.
Yeah,
Usually
the
with little
green
citrus.
papaya they often it will be like a salad or something.
Yeah, it's really great. Any other hot tips we have for horse throat? Because I think that's something that comes up. I think we covered that pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem for the rock stars, I had to recommend vocal rest and acupuncture, but on the tour, not all the rock stars are traveling with acupuncturists yet, although some do for sure. So these are helpful things to assist on a day-to-day basis, prevent the horse throat, losing the voice during the tour. And also, if you have any questions, just go to the Q&A pod, ask questions, and we can feature different foods for you so that you can see many of the things that we've been working on, and feel free to ask questions. And let's take a look. Here's Gugen, and we covered that a little in the video. We saw the fresh Gugen. It's so nice to see this in the supermarket. Now, this is coming to markets more and more, and it's spreading. We have markets in Texas, California, New Jersey, of course, San Francisco Bay Area, Santa Cruz, San Jose has a lot of it, fresh Gugen, which we can now get. Are there any favorite dishes you recommend with Gugen, and any direct application you think,
Actually, another one might be interesting. You take the bamboo shoot imaging.
Oh, let's go to that.
Yeah.
Almost no carbohydrate.
Yeah,
really
because
no
now
digestible.
many people talking about how to lose weight. So then the food will be the important thing.
Yeah.
So on the before, the bamboo shoot, it's very common, the material to, like in the Chinese cooking. But on the before, always just come from the can.
Yeah.
Okay?
Not good.
It's not so good. But now, because the market demand, so then I think now is all 4 season. Anytime you go to the supermarket, they have fresh, the bamboo shoot available.
And this bamboo shoot is this particular shoot we're looking at is larger than the human hand here. Yeah. This is a very large shoot. We can't see from this particular image. These are large. Again, what Jeffrey's saying is there's virtually no carbohydrate. Very low.
No carbohydrate, no protein, no.
Not much. It's fiber.
Yeah, just mostly fiber.
Fiber. And so it's great to give someone a full feeling. And so people with obesity need to start working on food preparation.
In the TCM, herbal medicine, the whole plant of the bamboo is all herb. You know what? The leaf is the danzhuye. Okay? Then, bamboo should somewhat, on the just say bamboo will be zhuru. Okay? Then the juice of the bamboo will be called zhuli. So we use that bamboo to be like, the inner, the hollow, the empty.
Right.
We will be cook the rice over there too. Then they can be observed, the flavor or, the medicinal quality from the zhuli. So that we make the, the rice, the temperature will be more like cooling. So then now we talk about the bamboo shoot, because the bamboo shoot is the, the baby, the bamboo. So they will be more like tender, so you can eat them. So then, people will be talks about, diet for, the lose weight. Then many food will be had somewhat, carbohydrate or whatever, gluten or something, sugar or, something like a protein. But, the bamboo will be what is 100%. It's just like fiber.
And then talking.
Then we be have to lose weight, but also have bowel movement too.
So the bamboo shoot, if we compare it, now zhuli is absolutely the strongest. The juice of the inner core of the bamboo is the strongest for dissolving and cooling hot phlegm. And the danzhuye, the leaf of the bamboo, is definitely releasing the fire and a little bit promoting water also.
And also hot phlegm.
Hot phlegm. Where does bamboo shoot come in terms of its medicinal strength? More promote the bowel movement, not so much dissolve phlegm, or are we getting some dissolved phlegm property from it?
Just say will be a little bit, but not that much. But mainly will be like cooling.
Cooling property.
because cooling property, then we have the body, like for example, I tell you the story. In the before, um, bamboo shoot because in the Chinese village in some area they are just grow the bamboo a lot. So then the village, the farmers, they eat that bamboo shoot a lot. Then later on, what they find out? They find out they lose weight. But on the before, lose weight is not a good sign because they need actually gain weight because
Yes.
they don't have that much because poor people they don't have that much eat those meat or something. Then what the way they do that, they will be put always bamboo shoot cooked with fat pork meat
There you
to
go.
what, to avoid the side fat from the bamboo shoot because they know that the bamboo shoot will be make you slim. Then on the before that's not the
Fatten it up a little.
yeah
Okay.
okay. But now time
Opposite.
changing opposite way. We actually need more slim people have overweight. So then we be what the bamboo shoot is one of the very good food because they don't have any calorie. Okay, so then we be what don't have any sugar, don't have any carbohydrate. So it's good to eat more. That's why now that things because the market demand. So they selling more and more. I think that come from the local too. Like some people get that from some kind of bamboo
Yeah, it's a
forest.
local
It can
variety.
be, yeah.
And so be careful. Don't eat too much jellyfish and bamboo shoot. You'll lose all that weight and disappear. Which I think is interesting. I mean, a lot of these fresh foods, whether it's burdock root, which is the root of the nubangza
Yeah.
for clearing toxin,
Mhm.
celery, what have you, they help lose weight, but especially bitter melon, right?
Yeah,
Because
the bitter melon actually is a very good food. They are medicinal. Is almost can compare with like huang lian, huang bai, those kind of very strong herb, but tastes much better. Okay.
very bitter for me. This
Yeah.
is my limit.
Oh no, but because you know how to cook them. Okay, because you need to be sliced that kind of bitter melon. Then you soaking in the water, the hot boiling water first. Then you take them out. Okay.
Much better idea.
Yeah. Then actually some people will be you want to more cooling, they can be actually just peel the skin of the bitter melon is completely like green. So then they will be what? Put a little bit sugar, put a little bit vinegar, okay, to be what? To make like salad.
So a Chinese black vinegar or a Chinese white vinegar or a regular
It
vinegar?
doesn't matter
Okay.
which way, but the idea just say you would be like it to eat those kind of, like green salad or the bitter melon because that will be not that bitter, but it's very strong cooling after that kind of processing.
So bitter melon here is a major anti-acne herb as well.
Yeah.
So if this is in the diet of someone who suffers from acne,
Yeah, can be actually also external
going.
too. So you put the bitter melon, the juice, you put on the acne area. It's also work too.
so external for acne as well as internal. So then and here's a dietetics way of going about treating acne externally also is either take bitter melon juice or cucumber
Cucumber
juice
juice also too.
and one or both and then mix
With
Qing Dai. Qing Dai.
Qing Dai.
So-
Or if you have to get the Qing Dai, you might be buy it. Something like a pet medicine we call like watermelon frost
Yeah.
powder, or something like sore throat powder. They will be similar to ingredients.
The superior sore throat powder mixes.
Then you can be mix it with that kind of cucumber juice or whatever bitter melon juice. Then externally put on that area.
Yeah, and the Qing Dai leaf, the indigo leaf, I think is the technical Latin phrase for it. Again, if you just try to take Qing Dai and put it on your face, let's say for acne, it's very hard to mix with the water and get it to stay. It would really take some doing. It will actually repel the water, so patients might be frustrated. But cucumber, remember, it's acne, so lung and stomach channel. Cucumber cools lung and stomach heat, for example. And even more strongly, bitter melon. So think of it more like Huang Liang, Huang Qin, Huang Dai. And when you mix that juice in with the Qing Dai, it has a synergistic effect. And this will powerfully eradicate acne, of course, using internal herbs to correct either the yin deficiency, the lung and stomach heat, what have you, that's involved, the liver issues involved with acne. But people will have extraordinary and rapid results for the treatment of acne, taking bitter melon juice or cucumber juice, mixing it with Qing Dai and applying it topically, letting it sit for at least 20, 30 minutes. The only caveat here is, remember, if using Qing Dai powder, just ask for the herbal company to send it in powder form. It's a leaf. It does stain everything, hence the Latin name indigo. So tell people to wear old shirt, maybe if they're going to apply it, and let it stay on the skin and dry for at least 20, 30 minutes, maybe longer. And even deep cystic acne will go away. It's great stuff. And if you include it in the diet, bitter melon is extraordinary. So
Actually, you mentioned also the Qing Dai powder can be mixed with some kind of look like Vaseline, those kind of.
right.
What's the name again?
That brand it's mineral oil with a little paraffin, a little petroleum jelly, and Albolene. That's a brand name. Yeah. That can make it help it stay.
Yeah.
But that is when you mix the Qing Dai about 30%, no more than 30%. You mix it with the Albolene and apply it topically. That is more moistening with the mineral oil. So then that is specifically for psoriasis, and it has somewhat miraculous effects for psoriasis. So Qing Dai, no more than 30%. So let's say up to 9 grams of Qing Dai with what's approximately 21 grams of Albolene, which is just an over-the-counter, kind of like Vaseline, but not as congesting. It's a mineral oil primarily with a little paraffin and Vaseline and a little beta carotene, and that's a brand name, and it's found in drugstores. Albolene. It's actually a makeup remover. So anyway, you rub that in until it disappears, and less is more. People want to use a lot, but less is more for that. Just a little bit every day, once or twice a day, and will really help, along with internal herbs, to correct the root. It will rapidly dissolve psoriasis, but
this thing will be just called. Will stay for a couple hours. The skin won't permanently get this thing.
And really, as an ointment, it should dissolve. But the thing with the psoriasis is there is just no way we're going to be able to heal it if people do not change their diets. And you were saying alcohol, because you can use all the herbs you want. If they drink, if they're taking alcohol and have a high saturated fat diet, I'm not so sure we can fix it.
Like I mentioned before, we need to be changing the body constitution, and otherwise they temporarily be disappear, but then later they come back.
And then mix the Qing Dai with a little bit also Sanling and Eiju if there's blood stagnation for psoriasis is good, and Zichao, which is great for psoriasis, is also all in powder form. A little Zichao if there's a deficiency heat, and those work well for psoriasis. But again, it comes down to the body constitution. There's really no point if someone's drinking alcohol and having a high saturated fat diet. In fact, they should temporarily be vegetarian or close to it, and no dairy while they're healing. And then once it's all gone is another story. But dietetics is critical in that situation to help those people.
Yes. Okay.
Jeffrey, you commented. I want to talk about purple yams for a second. Yeah, I do. I do, because this is not one we see a lot. It's more flavorful. It has a stronger medicinal value. Can you tell us a little bit about purple yam?
The purple yam will be much had medicinal stronger than the regular yam. So then again, like I mentioned, when you peel off the purple yam, the skin, you'll feel the character. It's very different from the regular yam. Why then? Because they have something purple juice come out too. It's sticky, and the same thing too is a little bit difficult to remove from your finger. So that probably need to be wear the glove to do that is better. Then the purple yam, we can be same again. It be similarity like shan yao, okay? That kind of sticky or that kind of juice actually will be help the body like lubricated, the bronchi system and also the joint system, or even though in the digestion system too. So then will be what? Of course, the purple yam, the sweetness is much higher. Okay, so then very sweet. People like it because the taste is so sweet. But of course, some people like the diabetes, or some people cannot tolerate the sugar. Then you need to avoid that. Otherwise, the purple yam, because the purple color, we know that in even the Western study, it's all good for like a antioxidant or anti cancer. Okay, it's very not only purple yam, any kind of yam or bamboo shoot is very good for prevention of the colon cancer. Because colon cancer is one of the highest risk in U.S. Because that's why the doctor say after 50 years old you need to be do the colonoscopy to be suggest to be every 5 years to be go to that procedure because so many people will be have that problem. Okay, so then we be what all those kind of yam product because they have the uh, cleansing the the colon. Okay, that will be what is very powerful to be prevention the colon cancer, the dietetic program.
And earlier we also mentioned conch, which is affordable. And so it's sweet, cold, and it's toxin free, and it nourishes yin, clears the heat, brightens the eyes, and nourishes the lungs, clears lung heat and lung dryness. So here it is featured a little in this slide so we can take a look at conch. And again, commonly used in healthy cuisines.
Yeah, they that kind of conch can available in the market. It can be dry one, but also now because the market demand too, so they some will be had fresh available. So taste is very good. One of the very strong combination will be the conch meat cooked with American ginseng because American ginseng is belong to cooling. Okay, then will be what? You combine with something meat or something that will be make very tasty soup, but at the same time will be very tonify the yin. Okay, and can be have something we call deficient fire, sore throat or headache, or the toothache, all those kind of things.
And I wanted to finish by just featuring some of the fish that we're talking about. Big head carp, for example, and they are big. It's an invasive species here in North America, and you can see one large-headed fish right there, and that is a culinary fish. As is the silver carp, and they jump very high. They have a lot of chi and yang. So
Yeah, they
actually,
can become a dragon after they come over the dam. Okay, they go jump over the dam.
and they're considered to have a lot of power in the silver carp. And also silver carp, you can see that the driver of this boat has netting around him. If you look closely, that's because they jump so high and so fast that actually they land on the driver and can hurt him. So they drive with netting. And Jeffrey, are there favorite dishes that silver carp tend to be prepared in?
Yeah, the silver cup usually we will be cooked with xiao dou, one of the we call azuki bean. Then will be with the garlic and chen pea, the orange peel will be very or yi ren too, so will be very good for edema.
So again, that's azuki bean with the carpfish. It's help for any kind of water stagnation in the body. So the chenpi, the garlic, ginger. So that's a pretty important dish, and we don't see that so much. I'm not sure why, but because it's so flavorful and also considered a lucky symbol. because of all its power and how it can jump out of the water like a dragon. And Jeffrey, I want to thank you also for a lot of the presentation today. And I look forward to some healthy cooking.
In a moment, we'll do a review of much of the material covered today. Also, we'll take a look at some slides of fresh herbs in the marketplace, and that's always a lot of fun. Let's take a look at kumquats here. This is a great food. It's a full complement of bioflavonoids in the citrus family, so it's absolutely wonderful. And its flavor is sweet, its temperature is warming, and kumquats regulate the qi and dissolve phlegm. They're more medicinal than other citrus fruits. It is important to buy organics when buying kumquats because it's the outside, the skin, that we eat. The interior flesh is very sour. Although you can crush the kumquat in a cup, add hot water and drink, and then eat the skin afterwards. That is one way to consume it. It's great for chronic laryngitis, chronic bronchitis. For indigestion, it's cooked with shanja, hawthornberry, and maya. So great for indigestion. Helpful for restless fetus syndrome. So it's a wonderful herb for that, but great for sinus congestion. So you can culturally just either peel off the skin and eat the skin like that, have 2 or 3 skins, or just roll it around in your mouth, bite a little hole to press out the center from it in your mouth, just eat the skin, and of course spit out the center part. So it's a little reverse from most citrus in that you're eating the skin and not the center. So again, for sinus congestion with shanja and maya for indigestion, great for chronic laryngitis, chronic bronchitis. So kumquats are a wonderful fresh food, very strong function. So if someone has some dampness in the sinus cavities, let's say, then in the sinus concha, they will notice it drying out. It's absolutely wonderful. And again, it regulates the qi and dissolves phlegm. Next, let's take a look at a review. Today's webinar covered headache and lung disorders, and what better way to start with a review on relieving coughing. So here we have a combination where you take citrus peel, figs, and white daikon radish, something we can find commonly in most stores. This recipe nourishes and clears the lungs. It's daikon juice, so it benefits the lungs and stomach, relieves coughing, and dissolves phlegm. We're using it to strongly dissolve phlegm. So function, stop coughing, dissolve phlegm, walk the qi, and nourish lungs. So here we're making a juice. It's very powerful. Citrus peel, figs, and white daikon radish for relieving coughing. Next, headaches from head injuries. Here we're using walnuts, and the function of the walnut here is to lead the herbs as a channel leading herb. So the Chinese say that walnuts resemble the human brain physically. Nutrients in walnuts assist in the recovery from head trauma in what is called brain-to-brain theory. The simple mnemonic is useful and one of many ways to remember Chinese medicine theory. So we use walnuts as a very gentle yang tonic and has moistening and nourishing properties as well for benefiting the large intestine. Sometimes in that respect, people can have a few walnuts if they have a yang deficiency. They can have a few walnuts before bedtime and a little honey and water. Here, for the headache due to head injury, mix walnuts with rice wine and saffron. So Henghua, Huangjiu, and Hutao Ren walnuts. So walnuts, rice wine, and saffron for this type of headache. And those two applications, one for yang deficiency constipation, which we cover in our dietetics webinars on digestion, and this one in our headache and lung disorder webinar, really contrast two very different approaches when we're using walnuts. One for the moistening the large intestine properties with the honey and walnuts before bedtime to help move the stool and to benefit the yang. And also here we have the channel leading properties of the walnuts, brain-to-brain theory. So again, very different approaches to using walnuts, and something that's very useful because it's so easily accessible to get walnuts, rice wine, and Honghua saffron. So many wonderful recipes for skin disorders. We briefly touched on that during the webinar when we discussed Qing Dai, which mixes well with as a powder into cucumber juice and bitter melon juice. So I wanted to briefly touch back on skin disorders and some home remedies. Now, regarding acne, of course, the topical use of Qing Dai is very powerful. So mixing the Qing Dai powder with cucumber juice, which traditionally treats lung and stomach heat, or even more powerfully with bitter melon, which really, when we take the juice from the bitter melon, it's much more powerful than the clearing properties of the cucumber. So then we up the power of the Qing Dai even more. So you make that into a light paste, apply to the skin directly, and let it sit there for a while. And that will greatly reduce even deep pustular and cystic acne with purple coloration and pain. It can have miraculous effects even overnight. Of course, internal medicine, we do have to look at whether there's some heat in the blood or lung and stomach heat. In some cases, there's kidney or even heart yin deficiency. So whether we need to use something to clear heat and toxins, or even Tianwan Bu Xingdan to address some yin deficiency heat situations, or let's say Danzhe Xiaoyao San for some liver heat or qi stagnation, things like this, needing to harmonize. Those properties universally matter when treating acne, and skin disorders in general, but this external paste has a very cooling and soothing effect for these toxic heat eruptions. And looking at this slide, we have clear heat and toxins for the skin. So this popular Asian preparation treats eczema, hives, rashes, and other skin swellings by reducing inflammation and clearing toxicity. Viewers learn how to make a delicious snack from the following ingredients right here in this slide. So mung beans, kombu seaweed, and dandelion root. People, when recommending to patients that they need to get dandelion root, they can get it from the yard, or they could potentially get that from like the supplement section from the store so that they have access to this. So that's one helpful way to go about treating skin disorders, is getting people to put the mung beans in the diet, put the seaweed in the diet. The dandelion leaf is not quite as strong, which is more commonly available. You would need the root to really up the strength, but it does have a nice bitter cooling property and will be very helpful. And so one can make a side dish from this. And traditionally, one can also make dishes in a sweet vinegar sauce with this as well. Perhaps one of the other, I will say, almost readily accessible foods is jellyfish. So it is prepared in packaging in Asian markets, so I say it's almost readily available. I think most health food stores do not carry jellyfish. I think that common markets do not. But Asian markets, yes. And jellyfish definitely softens the nodules. It's great for people with skin disorders, especially acne, for softening the nodules, dissolving the phlegm stagnation, clearing heat and toxins. And it will be presented typically also in kind of a dim sum restaurant. Jellyfish is not sautéed. It's not cooked. It can be blanched lightly to clean it and then prepared with a light sauce or dressing over the top of it. And maybe some sesame sprinkled on top, more traditionally. But jellyfish is not something that's cooked. That will ruin the texture. So jellyfish also, along with our seaweed and mung beans, has very powerful properties to dissolve phlegm. And again, if someone starts changing out their diet and getting rid of the chips and getting rid of the sugars and starts building in these healthy foods, their acne will start to resolve quickly. And let's take a look at some simple herbal cuisines for headaches here. Headwind, so food allergies, food stagnation, sudden headache, maybe with some digestion issues. Fang Fang, Zusuye, and Pu'er tea. Zusuye in Asian markets may be available fresh, no doubt about that. And Pu'er tea also in the health food store, no problem, right? So people can get Pu'er tea or maybe even just a simple to cha. I think generic stores, they might have a oolong, but I don't know that they would have a Pu'er. More and more they will. But Fang Fang definitely not. So I've thought about this. I thought, okay, maybe at the office we could have little packages up front people can get simply to have for their dietary supplementation. I think in most acupuncture clinics we do a differential diagnosis and we distribute herbs. But if we had pre-made packaging for people who wanted to include things in the diet, we could prepare Zusuye, Fang Fang, and Pu'er tea together so they could have a nice drinking tea that would have a natural anti-headache property for sudden headaches also caused by food allergies. So this is a great combination and effective as really building into the diet something healthy and very clearing, especially for people with chronic allergies and headaches due to them. The other dish takes a little more preparation is the water stagnation and phlegm stagnation headache. So chen pea, so people can use citrus peel, but baizhi, that form of angelica, not available in the market. Although yi ren I have seen here and there outside of Asian markets and standard markets. So sometimes called Job's tears or pearl barley. They give it a few different names for yi ren. A nice, gentle diuretic and great for the skin also. Sometimes prepared as a porridge alone for the skin. In fact, in Asian markets, it can be pre-powdered, kind of instant yi ren for a morning breakfast. So yi ren plus fuling and lean pork meat. So this combination is for that damp phlegm, headache, when the turbid water is blocking the orifice. Again, another way to build into the diet something very healthy. This is obviously a lot more complex than something as simple as the Fang Fang Zusuye Pu'er tea. People have to start getting to the habit of preparing foods. Notice the mild flavors. Baizhi has a little bit of a strong flavor to it, but not very. And then the lean pork meat is there to help blend it into a nice dish. So these are 2 herbal cuisines for headaches. Let's take a look at some more herbal cuisines for headaches. Here we have one for wind, cold. So chuansheng, baizhi, shenjiang, fresh ginger in that case for the shenjiang, with fish head, so head to head. One can also use chicken head or pork brain for this. And again, these are not common standard cuisines in the United States. Fish head more common, I think. So something to build into the diet for wind cold headache. Chuansheng, Baichi, Shenjiang, and fish head. Moving over to wind heat. Juhua Bohe with green tea and zisuye. So, chrysanthemum Juhua is somewhat common, and Bohe, we can find many kinds of mint. So, somewhat accessible, or we can supply the Juhua to the patient, or have a pre-made bag at the clinic with green tea and zisuye, the perilla leaf. Now, green tea is chosen here for wind heat because it is cooling. And let's just review tea for a little bit. So black tea is a little more warming, and brown tea is like oolong or mildly warming. And green tea is cooling. So the downside to the green tea, while it's cooling, it is also difficult to digest. So if someone were to wake up in the morning and have green tea without having eaten, they may cause indigestion or some stomach problems. So for green tea, remember to eat first in the day and then later have green tea, no problem. So it's great for its cooling effects. Remember that while it is touted, green tea and immature tea, white tea, are touted for their antioxidant effects, remember that brown tea and black tea are also loaded with antioxidants. The character of the antioxidant process is a little different, but they are loaded with antioxidants. So Juhua Bohe plus green tea and zisuye, great for wind heat headache and effective. So contrasting tea again, remember that black tea, which is also in Chinese culture referred to as red tea. Now, why? Because it's red in the cup when you add water. So black tea is more warming. You could do that. So if there's a mix of cold and heat syndromes, for example, then you could use black tea in this situation. And if the green tea is simply too disturbing to the stomach, one could also use maybe a gangmicha, or also genmaicha, as it's pronounced in Japanese. So the toasted rice green tea has a nutty flavor, which is nice, but also protects the stomach lining a little bit. So that's also a nice way to go. Taking a look at wind dampness headaches, yi ren, bai bian dou, and lean pork meat. And again, the bai bian dou and the yi ren have very mild flavors. Here, someone could easily make a dish by spicing it the way they like and have a very successful meal. So we're just draining the dampness there and transforming the dampness for this dish. For liver wind due to yin deficiency, this is a little more complex. Shaku chow, dui mingzi, and gotang with lean pork meat. And moving over to deficiency, kidney qi and blood deficiency, shan yao, which we can get fresh in the Asian markets, gojitsu, now fresh as goji berries in standard health food stores, with beef shank. So shan yao, gojitsu, and beef shank for kidney qi and blood deficiency. Now let's take a look at herbal cuisines for cough, asthma, bronchitis, allergies, hoarse throat, things like that. This first formula, although definitely part of folk medicine cuisine, is difficult in the United States because Ma Huang has some legality issues that seem to wax and wane, where the public cannot always acquire Ma Huang. So, dependent on What year it is dependent on whether or not this formula can be accessed. So just be aware of the FDA's rulings on Ma Huang, and here's our recipe. So daikon with honey. So daikon, dissolving flat rate honey, moistening and nourishing the lung with ma huang, ganjang, a nice warming ginger, and chuan bei mu, dissolve the phlegm, stop coughing, with Asian pear. This is great for children with a chronic cough. You can add zhengcheng sha chow, cordyceps. Now, that's for the deficiency. When there's deficiency, we add zhengcheng sha chow to this formula. For the summer dry cough with summer heat, bai mu that's our white fungus, young coconut juice, plus chicken, and that's a great, restoring of the yin and cooling the summer heat. So summer dry cough from summer heat by mu very mild, almost flavorless, with young coconut juice and chicken. So that can be all cooked together, and that can be quite flavorful. Taking a look at some other foods, I was driving along when traveling in southern Utah outside of Zion National Park, and sure enough, there was a sign where I can get alligator meat. So, not exactly common, and there may be some environmental depletion issues of alligators too associated with the consumption of it. So, I have not had alligator meat, but it is good for the skin. So it's the rough skin to the rough skin idea is the mnemonic for that, and the way to remember the Chinese medicine function, the roughness of the skin to roughness of the skin. So it benefits the lungs, and of course in Chinese medicine being connected with the skin. Alligator meat benefits the skin in general, but also the lung system. So for asthma and eczema. So alligator meat in the diet. It's usually bought dried in Chinese medicine stores like Asian markets, and then prepared in foods. For hoarse voice, itchy throat, chronic coughing, a great combination is American ginseng, huang qi with chengbai, with some green onion. Bai mu again, white fungus, rock sugar, and Asian pear, and double boiled together. And that would be quite nourishing to benefit the throat, nourishing the qi, nourishing the yin, and soothing the throat. We talked a little bit about the throat in general, and that maybe one of my favorite ways to do it is just take some pang da hai, which you can get from any herbal medicine supplier, and take the pang da hai, put it in a cup, and pour boiling water over it, and give it some time. You may need to give it up to an hour, and different pang da hai will expand more than others. Think of it like picking out avocados or fruits. Some avocados will never really ripen properly. Some will get nice and soft and perfect, right? So most pang da hai you buy in a pound will, most of them, 99% or 95%, let's say, will expand properly. And when it does, it looks like a giant jellyfish, really, but it's a fruit. It really expands quite a bit in the cup, and it's a little bit fun. If you can drink the water of the pang da hai, and it's mildly sweet, very little flavor, but it's very soothing on the throat. Great for opera singers, people in rock bands who have to do a lot of high notes on tour, things like this. I've had a lot of good feedback from patients in these kinds of situations that have benefited from pang da hai. So again, just put the pang da hai in the cup, one piece. Pour boiling water over and wait up to an hour if you must. Of course, you can drink the water when it's hot, when it starts to expand, which will be sooner. But why I say to wait so long is that the very center of the fruit will stay mildly hard for a while. If it soaks long enough, then it will be very soft. So when you take the pang da hai out to eat, it will have a very sweet flavor, and so it's quite pleasant, and it's quite nourishing and soothing to the throat. So it's kind of fun to watch. Kids will like it. It doesn't have much of a flavor. It's enjoyable experientially to make. It's simple. It's easy. So there's very little complaints with pang da hai, as opposed to taking an herb like hei zi, spelled He space Zi. When we suck on the hei zi to soothe the throat, it's very bitter. So this is not always considered so pleasant. So instead, maybe the pang da hai, which is much more mild, where the hei zi has more of an astringent property. The pang da hai is a very soothing, simple approach. And again, pang da hai can be mixed with muhu die, another herb, and they can be boiled together into a tea. That's another way to do it. Makes it a little bit stronger. Take a few pieces of pang da hai and a little bit of muhu die and make a tea. Again, that keeps it relatively mild, so it's something that people can have in the diet here and there, especially if they lecture a lot, sing, things like this. It's a nice thing to keep the throat in shape. And that's a very serious business for people who depend on their voice for a living. So patients who depend on their voice, we really should, let's say for an actor, especially if on the stage or something where they have to project, this is something we would just want to give them in a Ziploc bag, some pang da hai to try and try to build it into the diet. I think they will like it very much. And again, my patients who depend on their voice for a living have found it useful and use it, where they're a little reticent to use hei zi, except when they really need it. They'll drink, a strong herbal tea specific for that function, and even sucking on the hei zi, which is very effective. But the pang da hai is something they seem to like, so I encourage it. And taking a look at the ginseng hejie-san. So here we take ginseng with cordyceps, dongcheng sha chow, and mixing that, preparing that together. And we could take powdered ginseng with it too and just have it in a cup, right? Or you can boil it as a tea. So this is something that's strengthening and tonifying. And the dongcheng sha chow is typically, when you buy the high-grade herb, expensive, but there are less expensive versions of that nowadays. So something that is accessible. We also started our webinar today with a review of Wisdom from the Neijing. So the Huangdi Neijing maps out the 5 grains for major nourishment, the 5 fruits, also the 5 livestocks, and the 5 spicy vegetables. And of course, some of those relate to the lung system. So it's a very important part of this course. And let's just take a brief review of that now. So relevant, of course, to the respiratory system is rice for the lungs. Also, the Neijing maps out wheat, benefiting the liver, sorghum for the heart, millet for the spleen, and black bean for the kidney, the darkness, just like in the 5-element theory, the dark to dark. So kidney and black bean. So rice for the lungs. We also see rice combined in different formulas in Chinese medicine for treating wind heat and yangming heat. And this makes a lot of sense when we consider the Neijing wisdom that rice benefits the lungs. I thought it'd be nice to take a quick look at sorghum here, and here's some popped sorghum, so popcorn made from sorghum. This grain is very popular in Africa, and although not relevant as rice is to the lungs for this webinar, I thought it would be nice to take a look. Not everyone has seen sorghum. let's take a look at the 5 livestock for beneficial nourishment, according to the Neijing. So for the liver, chicken. For the heart, sheep or goat. And remember that goat is very warming, one of the most warming of all the meats. For warming meats, lamb, goat, and venison, also deer, but goat and lamb particularly warm the interior. For the spleen, cow. So in this case, it's more of a neutral to warm. For the lungs, horse. So we didn't talk too much about that in our course, and I don't think too many people will be preparing horse. So it's not really part of modern cuisine, particularly in the United States. And to benefit the kidney, pig. So these are the 5 livestock for beneficial nourishment according to the Neijing. Now let's take a look at the 5 spicy vegetables for supplemental nourishment according to the Neijing. To benefit the heart, use chives. To benefit the spleen, use bean leaves. And for the lungs, garlic. It is common in Western herbalism and in folk medicine also. Garlic is great for enhancing the immune system. So daswan, garlic, benefits the lungs. Onion for the kidneys, and for the liver, spinach. So those are our 5 spicy vegetables for supplemental nourishment. We covered many things about the lungs, but one important concept to remember is the color is in the 5 elements. So the white is, according to Chinese medicine theory, white relates to the lungs. So this lets us know that we can also use onion for the lungs as well, but also white fungus, garlic, and these things have immune enhancing effects that we know. So again, white for the lungs. Conversely, darkness, black foods benefit the kidneys. So black sesames, for example, tonify the kidneys. And we see that in other foods. For example, the silky or silken chicken, the black skinned chicken, available commonly in Asian markets, is great for benefiting the kidneys. Green, this is for the liver. So green tea, we have things like spinach, right? And for clearing and detoxifying. Red, the heart. So red wine is now seen as benefiting the heart. Grape juice, tomato. Yellow, that's the spleen and stomach in 5-element theory. That would be carrots. Sometimes translated as ginseng for the peasant. It is a superfood. So carrots, incredible root. Pumpkin, and also potatoes. So those are our colors in the 5-element system relating to food. Taking another look at the 5-element system, we also keep in mind several basic control cycle contraindication factors for foods in Chinese medicine theory. So when the liver is deficient, no spicy food. When the lung is deficient, no bitter, because of that cooling and clearing property that it has can also weaken the lungs. For the spleen and stomach deficiency, avoid sour. And when the heart is deficient, avoid salty. And when the kidney is deficient, no sweet. So this is the control cycle. So we're looking at contraindications here from the control cycle within the 5-element theory. So this is a very simple concept to remember. It's the control cycle. So for example, with the case of the earth element and the water element of kidney, the sweetness of the earth then has the control cycle factor onto the kidney. So we know that the sweet in the control cycle of the earth when it acts on the kidney is not helpful for a deficient kidney, for example. Same thing here with the heart, with the 5-element theory acting on the lung. So we know that the bitterness in that element that can be very helpful in cooling can then overact onto the lung. So we have to be very, very careful not to use too much bitter on the lungs. And so that's our 5 tastes in the 5-element system according to the control cycle property of contraindications in traditional Chinese medicine dietetics. And a great way to conclude our webinar today is to have some fun looking at what our Chinese herbal medicines look like in the marketplace when they're fresh. So we'll be reviewing some of these slides, and we'll also talk a little bit about how you can get your certificates of completion for the webinar. Here we have some fresh gugan in the marketplace, common in Asian markets. And some tang choy, something very common in Asian markets, a great green to have. We'll let this roll through so you can really enjoy seeing some of our herbs like ujie here, which you can see in a standard health food store also sometimes. In terms of getting the quizzes and certificates of completion, again, you can retake your quizzes as needed. So don't worry too much if you don't get it first time round. This is meant to be a learning experience while getting your CEUs, your PDAs, your CEs, your CAEs. So we make it easy to get back online, take another quiz. Then you get your certificate of completion, and just keep that printed for about 4 years. Save it on your computer. Some people ask, for example, in Florida, do you send it to the CE broker? Yes, we do. Everything is California approved for the California Acupuncture Board, the NCCOM, which covers almost every state. And we have other individual approvals for different states. And you can go to www.healthcmi.com and look all that up. So basically, if you are a licensed acupuncturist in the United States, we have courses for you because Health CMI courses are national. Also Canada, parts of Canada, and sometimes, depending on the course, we pre-approve for Australia and other areas. So just log in with your username and password at www.healthcmi.com. Then the courses, tests, and certificates menu appears. Click on acupuncturist, and it'll take you right into the system. And so anytime you need to re-download anything, you can do that. So for example, this course has a nice PDF document you can download that references to this web page where you can view this. You simply can re-download that as you want. You can re-download it on your phone. You can re-download it on different computers, tablets, etc. And your username and password is what you made when you first purchased the course. You should have an email copy of that sent to you. If you do have any difficulty with that, just hit the contact button and let us know your name, and we'll help straighten that all out for you. I hope everyone enjoyed this process with the dietetics. We have many dietetics courses at Health CMI, both written and video. So Professor Pang, it has been a great pleasure working with him over the years, and he brings a wealth of information for generations of experience. And being the department chair in herbology, also dietetics, and the clinic and theory of 5 branches, and the founder of their curriculum for both locations of 5 Branches University. It's an absolute honor to work with Professor Pang. I want to thank him again for joining us and presenting this dietetics webinar. Dietetics is something that deserves more and more attention as we see that the failings of the diets of people sometimes can lead to big trouble. And here's the black chicken, Wu-Ji. So again, a great tonic chicken. You can see it in comparison to some other chickens there. have to mention some of these things as they come up. Foot-to-foot treatment right there. So anyway, thank you once again for joining us. If you have any questions also about the course material, feel free to contact us also. My name is Adam White, licensed acupuncturist. Thank you for joining us at www.healthcmi.com. Acupuncture Continuing Education Online.